Vampire Survivors is an engaging indie roguelike game that puts you in the shoes of a hero survivor in a hostile world. With its retro pixel art style and simple yet challenging gameplay mechanics, the game offers a refreshing take on the survival genre. Vampire Survivors is essentially a twin-stick shooter that simplifies controls by removing one stick and most buttons. You focus solely on positioning while the game handles firing your ever-growing arsenal of weapons against hordes of increasingly spongy enemies. The premise of the game is straightforward yet compelling. You must navigate through procedurally generated levels filled with enemies, traps, and treasures while managing your health, resources, and abilities. Each playthrough is unique, thanks to the randomized level layouts and the variety of items and upgrades you can find along the way. One of the highlights of Vampire Survivors is its fast-paced gameplay. Movement and combat are smooth and responsive, allowing for intense and strategic encounters with enemies. As you progress, you'll unlock new abilities and upgrades that enhance your vampire's powers, adding depth to the gameplay and encouraging experimentation with different playstyles. The pixelated 2D character sprites may seem basic, but they serve their purpose. The chaos on screen can get intense, with psychedelic weapon effects and a rising tide of foes. Surviving means staying ahead of the curve and optimizing your damage output. The game's retro pixel art style is charming, evoking a nostalgic feel while effectively conveying the dark and atmospheric world of vampires. The soundtrack complements the gameplay well, setting the mood for exploration and battles. However, Vampire Survivors is not without its challenges. The difficulty ramps up quickly as you advance, requiring careful planning and quick reflexes to survive. Some players may find the learning curve steep, especially in mastering the nuances of enemy patterns and optimal use of abilities. Vampire Survivors employs an interesting difficulty scaling system. As you progress through the game, the challenge gradually ramps up, keeping you on your toes. Here's how it works. Enemy variety and behavior. As you advance, you'll encounter different types of enemies with varying attack patterns, movement speeds, and health pools. Some foes might be more aggressive, while others could be resistant to certain weapon types. This diversity ensures that combat remains engaging. As you progress, you'll collect XP gems dropped by enemies. Level up and choose from a random selection of new weapons and passive abilities. Each weapon pairs with a specific ability, allowing for interesting combinations. Weapon upgrades. The game's difficulty is closely tied to your weapon progression. When you level up, you gain access to new weapons and abilities. However, the game doesn't just hand them to you, it offers a random selection. Sometimes you'll get powerful tools, and other times you'll need to adapt to less optimal choices. This randomness keeps things fresh, but can also make survival tougher. Balancing act. Vampire Survivors strikes a balance between risk and reward. You can choose to play it safe and stick with familiar weapons, but that might hinder your progress. Alternatively, you can take risks by experimenting with new weapons and abilities. The latter approach can lead to exciting victories or crushing defeats. Permadeath. Here's the kicker. The game features permadeath. If you die, you lose all progress and start from scratch. This high-stakes consequence adds tension and forces you to play strategically. It's a love-it-or-hate-it feature, but it definitely affects the overall difficulty. Vampire Survivors keeps you engaged by gradually introducing challenges, mixing up your arsenal, and punishing mistakes. Adaptability and quick thinking are key to surviving this pixelated vampire apocalypse. Vampire Survivors is full of secrets waiting to be discovered. Here are a few tantalizing hints to get you started on your quest. Hidden rooms. Keep an eye out for suspicious-looking walls or areas. Sometimes, they conceal hidden rooms with valuable loot, extra lives, or unique weapons. Experiment with shooting or interacting near these spots. You might just uncover a secret passage. Cryptic messages. Pay attention to any cryptic messages or symbols scattered throughout the game. They often hint at secrets nearby. Decode them, follow their clues, and explore the game world thoroughly. Easter eggs. Developers love sneaking Easter eggs into their games. Look for references to other games, pop culture, or inside jokes. These hidden gems add a touch of whimsy and reward observant players. Alternate paths. Some levels have alternate routes or branching paths. Don't always follow the obvious path. Explore side corridors, climb ladders, or jump down pits. You might stumble upon secret areas or shortcuts. Remember, curiosity is your best ally in uncovering secrets. Vampire Survivors features pixel art, which contributes to its charming and retro aesthetic. Here's what you should know. Sprites. The character and monster sprites in the game draw inspiration from classic pixel art. While some of the initial item sprites resembled those from the Castlevania series, the developer has since reworked them to avoid any direct copies. The game's visual style captures that nostalgic feel while adding its own unique twist. Assets. The pixel art assets used in Vampire Survivors were originally part of an asset pack by Oryx Design Lab. These assets have been repurposed for the game, but the developer aims to replace them with original work in the future. Low-resolution charm. Pixel art, with its low-resolution graphics, evokes a sense of nostalgia and simplicity. It's a fitting choice for a game that pays homage to classic titles like Castlevania. Feel free to explore the pixelated world of Vampire Survivors and enjoy the retro vibes. Vampire Survivors doesn't delve too deeply into lore, but here's what we know. The Cataclysm. The game is set in a post-apocalyptic world where vampires have overrun civilization. A mysterious event known as the Cataclysm triggered this vampire uprising, plunging humanity into chaos. Survivors and resistance. You play as one of the last human survivors, battling against hordes of bloodthirsty vampires. Some humans have formed a resistance, fighting back with whatever weapons they can scrounge up. The Vampire Lords. Rumors persist of powerful vampire lords ruling over different regions. Each lord possesses unique abilities and weaknesses, making them formidable foes. Artifact Hunt. Your mission is to find ancient artifacts scattered across the wasteland. These artifacts hold the key to defeating the vampire lords and restoring balance. Cryptic clues. As you progress, you'll uncover cryptic messages, ancient texts, and hidden symbols. These provide hints about the artifact's locations and the lore behind the Cataclysm. Remember, the true story lies in your survival and exploration. Uncover the secrets, wield your weapons, and reclaim humanity's future.